Welcome everyone, John Fedro here at mobilehomeinvesting.net. Thank you for watching. I'm sitting here very happy to be sitting here with Dave B. Usually on the west coast of the country. Now you're over on the east side. Dave, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. This is the sort of a new video topics that we're doing where it's ask the experts. And I don't mean that lightly because an expert is, I think that word is kind of thrown around a lot, but you have the experience in this business and the track record, of closing deals, doing what you say you're going to do, going through to completion. Tell everyone a little bit about sort of when you got started with mobile home investing and approximately how many deals that you have under your belt.
Been doing this for, I don't know, how long have we been with you, John?
Maybe 2-3 years now? Longer?
Maybe about two, but
Okay.
about 2 years.
Okay.
But we've probably done, I would say, in the neighborhood of 12 or 13 deals, but those were also a couple of those were repeats. So, that's just something that you just run into in the business.
Right. Let's start off with, I want to ask you a question. What is in your opinion, what's the most important daily activity for an active mobile home investor to do?
You should be following up on people's calls, any kind of calls that you get in.
Okay. A big part of this business is follow-up. A no that we hear
Well,
is a temporary no, and
right.
yeah, and bottom line, you should be looking to help the seller. So I mean, how a seller thinks today is not going to be the same way that they think and feel in a week or in a month.
Right.
So great. So follow up, which is huge in this business. Do you think
Right.
somebody that's coming into mobile home investing, let's say that I'm just throwing out a number, let's say there's 3 or 4 other investors investing in mobile homes in that area. Do you think that the new investor starting, if they have the ambition and the desire, do you think that they can be successful in their area, or is there just too much competition? What's your opinion there?
I think that they can be successful because at least 3 people that do the same thing we do, and yet we still have calls and park managers that call us instead of those people. In fact, they go to us first.
Okay. I completely agree. I mean, just because somebody planted their flag first doesn't mean that they're keeping those relationships
No,
close on a first name basis. They're following up, like you said. So yeah, I completely agree. What are your goals for this year with regards to mobile home investing and single family home investing?
well, mobile homes. We've got mobile homes waiting for us when we get back to California. So as soon as we get back, we'll probably throw ourselves into those. And I think there's at least 3 or 4 that are coming up. But as far as single family, we'd like to do another one of those after we get this one done,
Okay.
and then go back to California.
Okay. And I should tell folks watching, you are sitting in a rehab that you're currently rehabbing, or that was fully rehabbed, or that you
Yeah.
fully. Okay. Perfect. Excellent. I like that because now that actually brings me to the next question. I like when people or investors have their hands in multiple different niches. But for somebody just getting started in real estate, do you think it's better for them to sort of just help everyone? You put ads out or marketing, and then anybody that calls, you try to help them or be an expert in everything? Or do you think it's best to hone in on a niche or a specialty?
I think it would be better to hone in. And the reason I say that is because you can create an income from that, which can help you go on, go to other things. You have to have the income before you can go on. So
Perfect.
that's the way we did it.
Now you're busy in family parks as well as senior parks, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is it mostly senior or mostly family or 50-50?
Thing is, where we live, there's enough parks that are seniors that the good thing about senior parks is all the mobiles are really cheap, and but they're a little harder to get rid of. But the family parks, they're a little more expensive, but they're very easy to get rid of. So we do both, and the reason is because it's just they just come to us. So that's how that's why we do it.
Well, I'd like to add that you've done a lot of effort. You've put in a lot of effort, daily consistency, and a lot of follow up to get to the point where you're well known in the area and that they
Right.
just come to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel that you're doing, like, as mobile home investors, we take risk, we help the community. Do you feel that we really do, a good job at helping the community, or do you feel that it's kind of one-sided where we're making a lot of money but we're not helping others, or do you feel that that's a balance we earn what the value that we
I think
create?
I think we help a lot of people. In fact, one of the greatest things about this business is talking to the people that we have in our properties and them thanking us
Yeah,
just for letting them buy a mobile from us.
yeah,
It's amazing how many people are actually just grateful for having a place to live.
right. You're right. Are so happy, they're thankful, and I'm thinking, well, that's the business. You're paying me for this home. I'm happy to have you here.
Right.
And yeah, people are just, yeah, that was a nice thing that I like that a lot. Do you feel that the park managers, that the park managers see how much value we bring as well? And are the park managers assets for you? Or do you think that they help you a lot or they hurt you?
Oh, they help us a lot. In
Okay.
fact, one of the thing is, once you get to know the park managers in the parks that you deal with, the more you get to know them and the more they add to their park, the more they'll send you.
Yeah,
And that's the case. Once they see you do a great job, they'll be behind you all the way, all the time.
I feel the same way. Excellent. If you would, just sort of what's a cookie, and I know every deal is different, but if you had to have a cookie cutter type deal where you're in it for this price and you repair it and then you market it and resell it, what are those numbers looking like?
Okay, we don't usually pay more than the maximum we pay is about $3,000.
Okay.
We have paid up to four, but that's about it. And we might put in another three if we have to, but usually it's less than that. And so we're talking about we usually sell them in a single wide, like a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or that's probably going to run about 17,000 or in that neighborhood. A little more, a little less, depending on how much money we put in it.
Hmm.
And for 6 or 7 years, $300 a month. So
Beautiful. And do you prefer selling handyman specials, or maybe they don't need that much work, but do you prefer selling them, fixing them up to the nines, or at handyman, or somewhere in between?
well, I guess that we would have to say somewhere in between because we fix them up nice, very nice, but they're not top of the line, brand new type stuff. They're clean, they're livable, they're functional, and they're pretty. They've got new floors, new paint, stuff like that. But we have never sold a handyman special yet, and actually would like to do that. But where we are, we just have never been able to get one to go. So we just fix it up and sell it as is. So
Is it all right if I post some pictures here on the video for people to see? Because
sure.
both of you and Cindy make these look amazing. I mean, they're gorgeous. The homes speak for themselves. So when anybody sees it, if they're really looking to buy, unless they don't like the park or the area, they're going to like the home.
Right. Yeah, sure. You can do that. Have you got pictures of? You've got pictures of most of the stuff we've done, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Now, what's one of the strangest things that you weren't expecting, or one of the strangest things that happened to you since being in this niche?
Wow, that's one of the questions that I was wondering how to answer because I don't think we've ever had anything unusual happen to us. I
Wow.
mean, well, I tell you what, there is one thing, one mobile that we bought in Reading. We bought it, fixed it up. It was like the second or third one we ever fixed up, and it was horrible when we got it. But we fixed it up and sold it, and the lady was in it for a month or so, and we resold. She gave it back to us, signed it back over to us, and then we resold it. And then the lady that was in it the second time, she stayed there about a year, and she gave it back to us, just signed it back over. and then we sold it for cash. So it was a great deal for us.
when, how now when you're selling these with payments, how long does it typically take? And I know it varies, but how long would you say that you're usually getting your money, you're recouping all of your money?
That's that's interesting because we don't uh, we don't require a big enough down payment for people to actually. It will probably take us a year to get our money back
Okay.
if we don't go ahead and sell it for cash.
Okay.
And then we have another 5 or 6 years for payments.
Sure.
But
Okay. Excellent.
not all of them are that long, but most of them are somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay. Still very fair, better than traditional real estate.
Right.
If you had a sort of a magic wand and you could change one thing or do one thing over, what would you? Is there anything that you'd change or that you would tell yourself maybe a year or 2 years ago?
Wow.
Catching you
Just a
off
couple
guard.
of years ago, huh? Because the thing I would do more than anything as far as investing goes is I would say start earlier,
Okay.
years and years earlier. That's what I would want to do. If I could change anything, I would start doing mobile homes about 10 years ago, instead of 2 years ago. So
Okay.
that's what I would change.
Okay. Yeah. Well said. Any what say? So I'll ask you this, and this might be too vague, or it's a pretty open question. But what would you say is sort of rule number one when it comes to real estate investing, in your opinion?
Make offers, make offers, make offers.
Excellent. Right on. Yeah. Absolutely. That's
You
great.
can't make any money if you don't make offers. That's all there is to it.
You're right. And when you're making offers, that naturally gets you to negotiating with the seller, and then that naturally gets you to closing some deals, then to fixing them up, and then reselling them. So, and even if we go before making offers, you have the marketing and getting to know local park owners and managers and sellers, and then going to appointments and first calling them up and then making offers. So,
Right.
exactly. But
It,
making offers is, yeah. Some people, you don't. We as the investor, we don't have to pull the trigger if we don't want to.
right.
So making offers is free usually.
Well, not only that, like you say, it develops every other aspect of the business too. Making offers makes you talk to people. It makes you get used to talking to people. So, and that's the business right there, as far as I'm concerned.
Now, you've before you got involved with mobile home investing, you already had a real estate experience with single
I
family.
was a contractor, and I also flipped houses.
That's
We,
right.
we, Cindy and I flipped houses for
How many years did you say that you were in the single family home business?
probably 20 years.
Okay. Excellent. 20 years. Wow. Yeah, you cut out when you said that, so I just wanted to repeat it.
Oh, sorry.
What would you say then, because you have such an extensive single family home past, what's one thing that is significantly different with single family homes versus mobile homes, or something that you had, like a new skill that you had to develop that you didn't necessarily need with single families, but with mobiles, you need that.
One thing you have to know how to do is find the material and the parts for mobiles, and that was the hardest part for us, was being able to, because so many things are hard to find with mobiles that you can't find it in some places at all, and you have to so we would either go to a mobile home park where I knew the manager very well, and we would salvage stuff out of homes he was going to have torn down,
Nice.
and then rebuild them and put them in our mobiles. So it's just things like that you develop. But I think the most important difference for single family and mobiles is price. It's so easy to get into mobiles because it's so cheap. It's really hard to go out and buy even a foreclosure. In California, you're talking not very 80,000 or so, for a fixer, a nothing fixer.
Ugh.
And you can buy a mobile for practically nothing. In fact, you can even have them give them to you, which we have.
Oh, without a doubt. I would say, and let me know if you agree, it's not a matter of, if you're in this business long enough, it's not a question of if, but when you're going to get a free mobile home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The
And you're also going to get some you don't want.
Let's talk about that. So, have you done a bad deal, and what made it bad, and what will you not do again with mobile home investing?
Okay, the first one we did was in an RV park,
Okay.
and I think I remember you and I going over the whole problem, but we paid $2,000 for a one,
Uh,
and we fixed it all up, and worked on it for a month or so, and we ended up selling it to somebody that was in the park living in a camp trailer, so it was actually a really good deal for us, but I probably would never buy a one bedroom. Teach in your course not to buy a one bedroom. Well, you were right about that. But
but it ended up well. It
it
ended up
did
working
end up
out.
well. In fact, those people are about to pay off their loan this year, so that's great.
Excellent.
They've been the best tenants we've ever had, bar none.
Do you, what's a word of advice that you would give people if you had to, yeah, just give one or two words of advice for when you're going to sell on payments, when you're looking for that tenant buyer? What's if you've ever been burned in the past, what's something that you'll never accept again, or you always want to make sure that your tenant buyers have?
Well, the only thing I can say is do a background check and do a credit check, because we started out not doing any of that.
Yeah,
We would just talk to them and look them in the eye, and when they felt good, we would sell it to them.
me too.
And most very few people that buy our houses have good credit anyway. So you have to go by your own judgment.
Yeah.
But I would still, that's probably what I would do.
Okay. Yeah. When I'm looking at credit in a background check, I want to see no evictions, nothing currently in default, or revolving credit card debt that they just haven't paid. Just a track record of people that look like currently, maybe 10 years ago they were one way, and maybe they have a foreclosure due to something. But if there's eviction, even one eviction in the past 10 years, I don't like that at all.
Right.
And then yeah, just the credit. Bad things happen to good people, but
Exactly.
looking at credit and what's in default and what they're paying and what they're not paying, people's past really will. It's not a crystal ball to the future, but how people act in the past is typically how they're going to treat your place as well.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's
Um,
interesting though. We've had people with horrible credit, like those people we were talking about, the first ones, and they've been perfect tenants the entire time, or tenant buyers the entire time they've been with us. And then
nice.
we've had people that had fairly decent credit, and they were gone the next, a month later they were out of there. So
Looking back on them, did you have a gut feeling, or did they completely?
it was, and interesting you should say that, because Cindy and I would both look at this one lady and said, she's just probably not going to work out. And we gave it to her for nothing down, nothing. It didn't cost her a dime to move in. She was an elderly lady. We were trying to help her out. And then a month later she left. So we didn't get a penny.
If you 10% is typically the number that I've heard on a few studies and what I've found myself. So if you can get 10% as a move-in fee or close to it, that really mitigates who's going to default.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or if people do work to the home and they really actually do it, you're selling a handyman special and they actually do the work instead of just saying they do the work, but they really do the work. I can't think of one time, or maybe one time, when somebody's defaulted. When they do the work, it is there. It's they're really attached, which is great. They
Yeah.
should be. It's their home. Perfect. If somebody was asking you your opinion on how much of a nest egg like how much side capital they should have just for getting into this business, how much would you say would be a comfortable amount to get started?
Yeah, I think about $5,000,
Okay.
and I think you can. That would be comfortable for me
Yeah.
if I didn't have anything and I knew, what I know now.
Right.
It would $5,000 would be easy because that would give you plenty of money to buy one and plenty of money to fix it up and you know
And
survive while you were trying to sell it. So
right. And keep in mind, folks that are watching this, they're thinking, well, how do you get to that price, or how do you get so low? And you can buy a home all day for, 10, 15, $20,000, or you can even talk a seller down from 40 down to 20,000, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be a good deal.
no,
So having that only that 5,000, at least this is the way I think about it. When I got started, I didn't have that type of money, so I couldn't be lazy, or I couldn't just throw money around. So I had to make it work with what I had. So starting out with 5,000, and I agree with that, really kind of forces you to make correct and conservative type of deals and offers.
and it also makes you find ways to find materials like I was talking about for through other park managers and stuff that you can use from old things that they're going to tear up and throw away. You can pull out the refrigerator or the furnace or whatever and use them in yours. And I've done that many times. And I have actually done windows the same way. Pulled windows out of older mobiles and put them in mine.
Excellent. I love that suggestion. That's actually really, really good suggestion. What would you say that in the limited experience that you have, but where do you see the future of mobile home investing going, or
I think
mobile homes in general? Are they leaving? Are they staying around? Do you see that there's
forever.
more people flocking to them, or people leaving?
There's a lot more people coming to mobiles than there are anything else. It's low cost housing.
Yeah,
It's going to always have to be there. It's not going anywhere.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Even, I mean, there's some competition I've heard with, now they come out, now they're 3D printing houses, or that whole
I heard
tiny
that.
house movement.
Yeah,
But
the tiny
mobiles
houses.
even those are 40, 50, $60,000.
I know they're a lot of money.
Yeah. And for usually like 300 square feet or 400 square feet is a big one. So, how many square feet do you usually, are your homes usually? Around 1,000 or
They're probably less than 1,000, I think.
less than 1,000? Okay.
We do double wides also, and those are up to maybe 1,000, but most of the ones we do are less than 1,000.
Okay. Interesting.
We
Right on.
like double wides, we just don't get enough of them.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here again, and for just sort of opening up your business and just talking from the heart. Really, thank you so much for this, and I love it every time that we talk.
Me too. I
Excellent.
appreciate it. I love this too.